All right, Jason here from Septic Tank TV. And in today's live broadcast, I'm going to answer a very popular question. Which are the best septic tanks to install? Which septic tanks are the quickest to install? And which septic tanks are the cheapest to install? All right, so today we're comparing two types of septic tanks. We're comparing the Clargister onion style shape septic tank, or a bottle shaped septic tank, and we're considering the bullet low profile shape septic tank. Okay, so we're going to have a look and try and work out which is the best, the easiest and the cheapest septic tank to install of the two. Okay, and so let me get my software up here. So I'm going to do a comparison of the two right now. All right, so here we go. If I bring the screen up. All right, so what you can see here are two holes. All right, so this is a typical garden scenario. There we go. We got a digger, you got a fence behind, and you've got two holes. All right, so let's put the tanks in their respective holes. Okay, so number one, we've got, there we go, we've got the onion Clargister style septic tank in the first hole. And then in the second hole, let's put the bullet shaped septic tank in. All right, so those are typically the two types of septic tanks that you'll find on the market today. So let's start with the Clargister style septic tank. All right, so as you can see, let's start with cost, right? So typically it costs about 500 quid to buy a fiberglass onion shaped septic tank. Okay, now it costs about 700 quid, 700 quid to buy a low profile bullet shaped septic tank. So on the surface of things, it seems like the fiberglass septic tanks, you're getting a good deal. I mean, look, the pennies make the pounds, don't they? So if you can save a few hundred quid on buying the septic tank, then it's sorted, you know, you've cracked it. No, because you have to take into consideration the total cost of what it's going to cost for the entire system, the septic tank and the soakaway to install. Or if you are just installing a septic tank, you've got to take into consideration all the bits and bobs that are going to be needed to install the septic tank. So let me give you example number one. You'll notice that the onion shaped septic tank is, the hole is twice the size of the low profile septic tank. So whilst you can get away with a 1.5 ton digger with the low profile bullet shaped septic tanks, you're going to need a minimum of a 3 or a 5 ton digger with the onion shaped septic tank. So a digger for the low profile tank for the week maybe cost you about 270 quid, 300 quid for the week. For the onion shaped septic tank, it's going to cost you 500 quid a week. More like 5 or 6, but we'll just say 5. So straight away, about 100 or 200 quid you saved at buying the tank has now been lost because you've got to buy a bigger digger. So how long does it take to dig the holes for each of the respective septic tanks? Well, to dig the hole, right, you're going down about 11, 12 foot with the onion shaped septic tank. You're looking at least half a day to dig the hole. I mean, once you start getting down past 3 foot, you know, and you start hitting clay or bedrock, stuff like that, then you, oh man alive, you can spend, I mean, I put loads of these flipping onion tanks and you can spend flaming hell a day or 2 days digging the hole if you're flipping unlucky. With the bullet shaped septic tank, you're looking about 40 to 50 minutes. I kid you not, an hour at the most, because they're so shallow. I mean, look, you can see the height difference on the two there, right? All right, so now, once you've dug the hole, okay, what else do you have to take into consideration regarding the installation materials? Well, with the onion shaped septic tank, you have to concrete them in. But before you can concrete them in, you've got to actually anchor them to the ground. So why? Because let's say it's taken you a day to dig your hole, right? And you're now setting it up, getting it ready for the concrete. if it's left overnight and it's not anchored down, many builders over the years have come back and found the onion tank sitting on top of the grass in the morning, because if you've got water retention in the soil, it just pushes the tank right up. And as I said, it just ends up sitting on the ground. So you have to anchor them down. You have to also anchor it down ready for the concrete. So the anchor system there is going to cost you about 200-300 quid to get the straps and the concrete lintels. All right, but just go on there like so. Once you've done that, as I said, you've then got to concrete the onion-shaped septic tanks in. Now, if you don't concrete them in, the manufacturers like Clargister will null and void the warranty that comes with the septic tank. You've got to concrete them in, and to concrete them in costs about 600, 700, 800, 900 quid to do. So it just gets ludicrous. I mean, I've had to concrete loads of tanks in. So let's just break down the costs here, right? So you've bought your onion-shaped septic tank for 500 quid. So let's say you got it cheap at the builder's merchants. Whippy, 500 quid, right? 500 quid. Then, so let me get my calculator and work this out. So you got 500 quid for the septic tank. You've then paid 500 quid for the digger, right? 500 plus 500. The lintels and the straps and the anchor system there has cost you what? 300 quid. And then you've got to fork out, flaming hell, 600, 700, 800 quid in concrete costs. Let's say 700 quid. So far, the costings are £2,000, right? This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Don't be taken out. Don't be taken in just because you've seen a flipping cheap fiberglass onion tank on eBay for 300 quid or at the builder's merchants, because you've got another flipping 1,300 quid. 1,700 quid to pay on top of that. You've got 700 quid in concrete. So suddenly you've paid 1,000 quid out. Then you've got to get a bigger digger. Then you've got to anchor it in. You need to weigh up the pros and the cons. Don't be conned by just seeing a cheap onion tank. They're not giving it away for nothing. People don't want them. People don't use them anymore. But look, I'm just telling you how it is, okay? Onion, I'm not demonizing onion style septic tanks. I mean, to be honest, they were popular in the late 80s. Early 90s, but they've been superseded by these low profile septic tanks. So let's have a costings of the same. So it's taken you an hour to dig the hole for the for the low profile bullet shaped septic tank. I use these bullet tanks, they're fantastic. So it takes you an hour to dig the hole. Then you just need 4 to 5 ton of shingle, all right? And so you literally backfill around the tank up to 3/4 in height of it. And the beauty with this is, I mean, oh, blimey, I mean, you can do that in half an hour, but let's say it takes you an hour to backfill it, all right? So it's going to cost you about 200 quid to do that and then cover it into topsoil. So let's work this out, right? So it's cost you let's say it's cost you 700 quid for the low profile, no concrete in one, right? They do different versions. You can actually buy the weaker versions where you have to concreting them in, but it's not worth it. Get the ones, it's worth paying the extra couple of hundred quid to get the non-concreting versions, right? So let's just add this up, right? So we've got 700 quid for the low profile tank. We've got 200 quid, let's say 300 quid, right, for the shingle. 1,000 quid, all right? So it's half, it not only, right, is it half the price of what a bottle-shaped onion tank takes to the materials to install it. It also takes 2 hours compared to 2 to 3 days to installing the septic tank. And you know, we haven't even talked about putting the soak away in yet. Oh man, on these onion tanks, flaming hell. I mean, look, you compare this, right? Let me take the onion, right? So on the onion tanks, right? You've got to, let me just take the digger off from the background there. There we go. So on the onion-shaped septic tanks, you can see the depth of the outlet pipe here. So obviously, the deeper you go when you're installing a septic tank, the harder it is, the more resistance your soak away will meet. So it won't be able to soak away as freely as, say, a soak away pipe that is nearer the grass. So you can see the difference in height of the soak away. Here's the soak away outlet pipe for the bullet-shaped septic tank. Here's the outlet for the onion-shaped septic tank. So you can guarantee that the soak away for the onion tank is going to cost you 2 to 3 times more in money and time to install. So there you go. That's a quick comparison of the onion-shaped septic tank, largest style septic tank versus the low-profile bullet-shaped septic tank. So for me, and I'm just talking personally now, for me, it's a no-brainer to go for the low-profile bullet-shaped septic tanks here, because they are basically, see, in the late 80s, early 90s, these are the only septic tanks you could get, the onion-shaped, bottle-shaped septic tanks. So, and they were fantastic when they came out compared to the big, heavy concrete septic tanks you had to install. They're like nuclear bunkers, you know, and you had these fiberglass tanks. They were amazing. But technology has moved on, and this is the scientific breakthrough of what those onion tanks were in the 80s. And so now you've got a tank that's bigger in volume, that's half the height to install. It doesn't need any concreting. So for me, right, these low profile tanks win hands down every time. So there is a typical onion tank in the ground there. You can see the depth of the hole that you've had to dig there. They've got to concrete that in now. And, you know, they've got to make sure that it's stable. It doesn't move when they put the concrete in. So they're going to anchor that in. They'll have to put some straps on there and anchor that in, right? Or, as I said, you can just go for a low profile tank, you know, that doesn't need to be anchored down and is really easy to install. But there you go. The choice is yours. That's the whole reason why I do these live broadcasts, is to just advise you, basically. So obviously you decide what you want to do. If you want to go for an onion tank and, you know, take out a week to install it, some people like doing that, you know, and you want to concrete it all in, blah blah blah, then go ahead and be my guest. If you're an installer and you're looking for a job with very few complications, and you'd like to save money, and, as I said, not get any repercussions or complications, and not having to concrete things down, and maybe you know, you're putting it in yourself and you want a tank that's easy to install, or you can just get your builder to do it, then I'd heartily recommend going for the low profile septic tank there. So there you go. Listen, thank you very much for watching this live broadcast. If you want to see more of me, or more importantly, you want to see more free videos on septic tanks, then just go to Septic Tank TV. So listen, thank you very much for watching this live broadcast, and I'll speak to you soon.